I'm proud to stand here on the ancestral homelands of the Lenape tribal nation. The President-elect and Vice President-elect are committed to a diverse cabinet, and I'm honored and humbled to accept their nomination for Secretary of the Interior. This moment is profound when we consider the fact that a former Secretary of the Interior once proclaimed his goal to, quote, civilize or exterminate us. I'm a living testament to the failure of that horrific ideology.
In its 171-year history, the Department of the Interior has been led by 53 different secretaries. If confirmed, Congresswoman Deb Haaland, a citizen of Laguna Pueblo, will be the first Native and woman of color to lead and oversee the department and will be the first Native American to hold a cabinet position. Created in 1849 to manage the U.S. westward expansion, the DOI has long been a tool of white supremacy. Throughout its history, DOI has been a destructive force used against Native communities in an attempt to eradicate, assimilate, and forcibly remove Native people from their land. Initially housed in the Department of War, the DOI now oversees the Bureau of Indian Affairs. In the 1880s, the BIA oversaw the government's attempt to civilize Native Americans by outlawing their traditions and culture. Carl Schurz, the 13th United States Secretary of the Interior, backed his policies with the threat of genocide. Quote, "If Indians are to live at all, they must learn to live like white men. The alternative to civilization is extermination." One of these assimilationist policies was government-funded boarding schools for Native children. Bureau of Indian Education, another program in the Department of the Interior, used these schools to enact cultural genocide. For generations, Native children were taken from their families and sent away to boarding schools where they were given English names, beaten for speaking their languages, and mentally, sexually, and physically abused by administrators. The effects of these schools are still felt today, with the loss of Native languages and cultural practices and the generational trauma of abuse. In addition to Native programs, the Department of the Interior manages most federal lands and natural resources, including national parks and wildlife refuges. It also oversees 55 million acres of tribal land which the government took from Native nations and now holds in trust. The DOI has consistently exploited Native lands, opening up indigenous sacred sites for resource extraction and settler development. For generations, land that is sacred to Native people and waterways that impact all of us have been under attack. Native and ally activists have fought, sacrificed, and protected these lands and waterways for decades. For the first time since this land was taken from Native people and the United States was founded, a Native American with decades of experience is ready to serve as Secretary of the Department of the Interior.
I also stand on the shoulders of my ancestors and all the people who have sacrificed so that I can be here. I'll be fierce for all of us, for our planet and all of our protected land, and I'm honored and ready to serve. Thank you again.
Deb Haaland is the most qualified and most experienced person to lead the Department of the Interior. Supported by hundreds of tribal leaders, organizations, and Americans, she will protect our land, water, and wilderness for future generations. Call or write your senator today and let them know you support Deb Haaland for the Interior.